Okay, good day, guys. Good day to you all. Welcome back to the Formula Sports channel. Welcome back, guys. Thanks for being here. Gentle reminder, as always. We know, you guys know we have to remind you guys gently. Gentle reminder to knock up the like button and also subscribe to the channel. These are both free and easy ways to support the channel. And as always, thanks for being here. The support is much appreciated. All right, we have to get into the big match now, ladies and gentlemen. Jamaica Reggae Boyz versus Mexico. Concacaf powerhouse, Concacaf Giants, Mexico. You guys know it's always a very tough game when we encounter the Mexicans, right? No, last night was no different, ladies and gentlemen, even though it ended 1-1. Our record against Mexico, not the best. Last night was the 30th encounter, and out of all 30 encounters, we have lost 21 times. So every Reggae Boyz fan is supposed to be well aware of the fact that this Mexican team is not an easy team for the Reggae Boyz to play against. The game ended 1-1. We took the lead very early, very, very early in the game through Leon Bailey. Ravel Morrison found Shamar Boza Nicholson on the left wing. Boza drifted out to the left wing into space, picked up a pass from Ravel Morrison. Shamar Boza Nicholson then on his weaker foot produced a peach of a delivery into the box. Very good cross. Leon Bailey, blindsided run, made the run from behind the centre back at the far post, moved in front of him, in between the centre back and the ball, and in between the two centre backs, got on the end of the cross, steered it home. Very good header from Leon Bailey. It was a very good goal, wonderfully worked and wonderfully finished. One of the few times you would see Leon Bailey score a headed goal. Leon Bailey doesn't score many headed goals, so it was good to see Leon Bailey, the face of the Reggae Boyz, arguably. It was good to see him get on the score sheet and also do it by a header. Seeing, never thought I'd ever see Leon Bailey score a header for the national team. The Mexicans equalized just before halftime. After wave and wave and wave of attack, finally, the Mexicans would have found the equalizer. A free kick was given about midway our defensive half on the left-hand side of the Mexican attacking half. It was swung into the box, and the CDM Romo got on the end of it and did well to steer it past a diving Andre Blake. This game was a very interesting game, ladies and gentlemen, right? In my humble opinion, this was a game of two halves. The first half for the Reggae Boyz, in my opinion, was atrocious. We were poor in the first half, in my opinion. Very poor. In the second half, it was a much improved performance, much better performance. Clearly, Paul Hall, the gaffer, had words with the Reggae Boyz, and they came out in the second half and looked a much more settled team. In the first half, the Mexicans were pressing and counter-pressing us with some degree of intensity, and it was causing us a ton load of problems. Guys, we were struggling to build out from the back. A couple of times on the counter, we had some decent transitional play, caught the Mexicans on the counter, but apart from that, in attacking transition, we were poor, struggling to build out from the back, struggling to evade the front press of the Mexicans. If it wasn't poor passing, it was just players being dispossessed. And whenever the Mexicans won the ball in our half, a lot of the times they won it in dangerous positions, so to speak, and won it in advanced positions as well. And we were just all over the place in defensive transition. They were quick in transitioning the ball, and we were just disorganized all over the place whenever we lost the ball to the Mexican press. For the most part, the first half was played in our half. The game was played in the first half, most of the times in our half. With how disorganized we were in defensive transition, honestly, I am shocked that the first half ended 1-1. Honestly, I am shocked. The Mexicans were poor in the final third, relatively speaking, with their end product, whether it was final passes and so forth and so forth. They did not capitalize on many a plays that they should have done much better, far better. Guys, the main culprit of the first half, with the greatest of respect to Kevin Lambert, brother, you did poor in the first half, Richie. In my humble opinion, Lambert was the worst player on the pitch for the Reggae Boyz. The worst in the first half. Poor. No joke, man. I mean, on both sides of the ball, he was just all over the place. Didn't look settled. Didn't look like he had the slightest clue as to what to do. On the offensive side of things, a lot of errant passes from Kevin Lambert and also Mexicans picking his pocket would have caused him to turn over the ball on a number of occasions in very dangerous areas. And once the CDM lose the ball, I mean, it's problems, right? So, and then even on the defensive side of things, he was all over the place, everywhere except where he needed to be. So to say that he was not an adequate shield for the backline in last night's encounter would be an understatement. Positionally, from a positional standpoint, his positional play was very poor. And then on top of that, when Speedy was getting on the ball and trying to progress the ball through the respective thirds, Lambert's mobility or the lack thereof was an issue. In other words, Speedy was struggling to find a passing option in Kevin Lambert because he was just not moving into space quickly enough. Lambert was like an albatross around our necks in the first half, in that midfield. And your CDM is supposed to be the anchor, right? Another suspect for us in the first half, Jamaica Topi. His poor coverage, his poor tracking, and downright just basically a bystander in the game at times. No assertiveness, no alertness. Right? Dangerous plays were taking place and he was walking back instead of trying to get back quickly to cover space or to provide adequate coverage. Jamaica Topi was poor in the first half. And even on the offensive side of things as well, his passing is usually a strong point. It was poor. It was poor, and his positional play on a number of plays was very suspect and would have helped to make the backline look as unbalanced as it was, and it put a lot of pressure on Amari Bell and Damian Lowe to clean up the mess that Topi was leaving. The midfield was unbalanced, largely because of Kevin Lambert. The defense line was unbalanced, largely because of Jamaica Topi. In defensive transition, we were poor. Mexicans won the ball in dangerous areas, and it's just Father God have mercy upon it. The Mexicans weren't more clinical in their final third, right? But again, we struggled to play out of the Mexican press in the first half. In the second half, we looked a lot more settled, right? We looked a lot more organized. The players looked like they had a better understanding of what the job at hand was. Whatever Paul has said to them at halftime, it clearly worked. they came out a different unit. They came out a completely different unit. Lambert looked more settled and looked like he had a greater understanding of what he was supposed to be doing on both sides of the ball. His positional play improved drastically in the second half. Drastically. Jamal Tope as well, from a positional play standpoint, improved a lot as well in the second half, and also was providing a lot more coverage, was tracking better, was more alert, and was playing more assertive, with more assertiveness in the second half. Overall, the entire team looked a better unit in the second half. One of the things I realized in the first half was that a lot of times we were trying to play out of the Mexican press, either through the middle or on the right. In the second half, we were using Amari Bell a lot more as an out ball to help to progress the ball through the respective thirds, and I think that helped as well. And also, goalkeeper Andre Blake started to go long. He was clearly given instructions to get the team up the pitch by going long and try and see if he could get it to Shamar Nicholson to compete and win those first balls and play off the second, and have the team playing off the second ball, and that worked tremendously as well in the second half to kind of get the game out of our first half. Because in the first, get the game out of our defensive half, because in the first half the game was mostly played in our half. See, so in the second half we were a lot better, looked more organized, looked more settled, looked like we had more of an understanding of what we needed to do. And individually as well, players raised their games in the second half. So all credit and fairness to the players. I want to talk about the big game performers, You see this brother on your screen right here, Andre Blake. He reminded all Jamaicans why he is the man. A number of outstanding saves from Andre Blake kept us in this game and got us a result straight up. A number of outstanding saves. Who never remember last night say Andre Blake a big keeper? Ladies and gentlemen, them find out or them remember. Who forget last night say Andre Blake a big keeper? Them remember. Last night they were reminded, all this talk about poor distribution, this and that, right? We should give Barnes be the first choice goalkeeper. Andre Blake reminded everyone why he is a top class, especially shot stopper, top class shot stopper. His distribution as well last night was very, very good for the most part. I personally give him the edge where the man of the match is concerned. This particular player as well, Ravel Morrison. The only issue I had with Ravel's performance yesterday is that given the circumstances that was taking place around him, he didn't get a chance to be as involved in the game as I would have wanted him to be, and as involved in the game as he was, for instance, against the Surinamese. But in this particular game, Ravel never put a foot wrong. This was one of the best performances I've seen from Ravel Morrison in the national team. He made the job of all the players around him a lot easier. Played a vital role in helping us to get the team further up the pitch away from our goal, providing that linkage in the middle of the park, difficult out balls that were played to him, right? Brilliant first touches, one-time first touches played to a player in space, boom, get the team going in attacking transition. This player produced some magical moments in last night's game. Magical. Big shout out to the maestro that is Ravel Morrison. Ladies and gentlemen, this particular player you see on your screen did very well too. And not only did he score the goal, but the corner kick, very good corner kick from Leon Bailey. Shamar Nicholson rose to meet it. Unfortunately, his header hit the bar. Remember, when he got the ball in the pocket, in the half space, drove at the Mexican defense, played Shamar Nicholson in behind. That lobbed shot from Shamar Nicholson was saved off the line. Remember that curling effort where he ran at the Mexican defense, got in between the lines of the Mexican lines, ran at the Mexicans, cut inside on his left, curled it, it went just wide, didn't have enough whip on it, didn't have enough curl on it to find the far corner. Leon Bailey is another player as well that I would have liked him to be more involved in the game, but under the circumstances, I understand. And every time he got the ball, for the most part, he did well, and he was making things happen. Leon Bailey, it's just unfortunate that he couldn't get more involved in the game, because you could see last night he was ready. He was ready to go. Damian Nanalo did very well in cleaning up a lot of the mess that was taking place in front of him and beside of him. Damian Nanalo had a massive game in last night's encounter. One and two things that went awry. If memory serves me right, he was the one on the goal. His marking on the goal, on the free kick, on the set piece could have been better. We conceded the goal, and he had a very rash tackle that could have easily have been a red card. But apart from those two particular moments, especially relative to the amount of pressure that Nana came under, given the pressure Lambert was putting both Low and Speedy under, Damian Low rose to the challenge, cleaned up a lot of the mess. So guys, that's my 2 cents. In the end, in the second half, we competed a lot better with the Mexicans, and in the end, a just result. By the way, a just result, I don't know. We drew the game, and it was a hard-fought draw. Credit to the boys. Big shout out to the substitute as well, Rolando Aarons. He provided a very good outlet for us down the left in the game when he came on. Right? Helped us to break the lines, helped us to, keep the game in the Mexican half, in the second half, in the dying moments of the game. Was a live wire down the left, running at Mexicans, taking them on, beating them. He did very well. Paul Hall, the major issue I have with Paul Hall in this game, I thought the substitutions were too few and took too long, even though I kind of understand to a certain extent why he did it that way, but I personally thought that it probably should have been done a different way. So guys, that's my 2 cents on the game. Take care, guys. Stay safe, and until next time.